We are live. What's going on, guys? It is almost midnight Eastern time, but I figured no UFC fights tonight. I did a stream last night. I asked you guys if you wanted me to do a stream tonight with no fights on. Apparently, there's some boxing going on. Maybe we'll watch that. I don't even know how to watch it, to be honest. But I figured, why not? A Saturday night, no UFC fights. The next 12 weekends straight are going to be UFC fight nights, or I mean, not UFC fight nights, but UFC fight cards in general. Some being pay-per-views, some being just regular fight night cards. We have a lot of MMA coming up, so this is going to be the first Saturday in a very, very long time, and that we don't have any UFC fights. So, welcome to the live stream. We'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. I appreciate you guys joining me, because considering the time, considering it's kind of random. I mean, I know some of you guys were in here last night and knew that I was going to do it tonight. What's going on, man? Raleigh Romero going to win. Is that the guy that's boxing tonight? Is that who's boxing tonight? I have no idea who's going to win. I'm rooting for the guy from Baltimore just because I am from Baltimore, so I got to root for the guy from Baltimore. But it's not Raleigh. I don't think. I think that's the guy he's facing. I literally know nothing about boxing. I'm not even a casual boxing fan, to be honest. I'm not even a casual boxing fan. So that's how much I know about boxing in general. Davis from Baltimore. Okay, but Roley, I guess his name is who's boxing, right? Okay. So yeah, that goes to show you how much I know about boxing. As always, guys, don't forget to like the stream. I need you guys to like the stream. I would greatly appreciate it. We are at, currently for the channel, I want to try to hit 4,000 before the end of June. So it hasn't even started yet. I think we can do it. We are at 3,412 subscribers tonight. Every single day, we're just adding more and more and more. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to like the stream. As always, that's how we grow these streams. Some of these random streams end up with 60 people in here, which is pretty good for live watchers compared to subscribe count. So it's pretty crazy, but it happens because you guys like the stream. Then YouTube starts to recommend the stream out to other people. So if you haven't already, do me a favor and do that. Let me X out of this. I don't need this open anymore. If you guys have any questions, throw them in the chat. But we're just chilling. This is a super chill stream where we're just going to talk about whatever. I really don't care. I'm happy that you guys are willing to join me. When I just jump online, the fact that you guys are just willing to jump in a live stream for me is pretty awesome. I remember, we talked about this plenty of times. I used to be happy when I used to have like 4 or 5 people in here. And now every stream, no matter what time, how random it is, we at least have like 10 to 20. At least, even on the most randomest time stream. And usually, I would say average is somewhere between 25 and 50. Somewhere. It seems like usually we have about 30 to 40. So, to narrow it down a little bit more. So, thank you guys for always joining me. I appreciate you guys. Okay. What's up, BK? What's up? Can you also talk about Colby versus... I'm down to talk about whatever. I just made up this title... just with some current events. But what do you want to know about Colby Dustin? I don't think it's going to happen. I don't want to see it because Dustin's going to lose. Colby's just going to ragdoll him. I don't think Dustin really wants it. Colby hasn't really been talking at all since the Masvidal thing. Since the Masvidal sucker punch, Colby's been kind of staying quiet. So I don't even know if Colby's going to fight. He's going to try to sue Jorge Masvidal, get some cash, and then... after that, I don't know what he does. He may never fight again, for all we know. He's claiming that he's got a brain injury. And it sucks because I really want to see, me personally, I would like to see Colby versus Khamzat and Usman versus Leon, the winners fight each other. But it just seems like that's not going to happen now. I don't believe it's going to happen. And it is what it is. I mean, I'm used to the welterweights for so long not fighting each other. It's just typical for the UFC welterweight division. That they're just perpetually not fighting each other. Up until recently, Usman was the only guy that had fought top-ranked welterweights. Everybody else was just ducking and dodging everyone. It was infuriating. Scared me with the stream title. I thought Diaz versus Chimaev was confirmed. No, it is not, Judy. No, it is not. But Nate Diaz did put out on Twitter. That's why I threw it in the title. Nate Diaz did put out on Twitter today that he accepted the Khamzat fight, that he wanted the Khamzat fight, but the UFC is just perpetually stalling him, which is really super unfortunate. The fans want to see Nate Diaz fight. Nate Diaz wants to fight. He helps to sell pay-per-views. So in turn, it's good for the UFC. But the UFC is just not willing to do anything for Nate Diaz because he's on the last fight of his deal. So I really think they're kind of, for lack of a better word, what Nate Diaz said in his tweet, they're slow rolling him. They're just kind of screwing him out of a fight. And it's super annoying because Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson, as much as I complain about main events of fight night cards and main events of pay-per-views, if Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson was a main event of a pay-per-view, I would definitely be like, oh, that doesn't deserve, but I'd buy it. I would buy it. I'd complain, but I'd buy it 100%. That is an amazing fight. The UFC needs to book that fight, and I would absolutely love it. My mic sounds off. What do you mean? Does anybody else hear that? Does my mic sound off to anybody else? I don't know what is going on there. Let me just double check. Settings. Audio. Seems like everything seems to be working all right on this end. I don't know. Let me see something. I don't know. Does everyone else? It's good for you. Yeah, I don't know. Everything, I'm looking at everything. Everything seems set up all right. Let's see this. Does it sound low? What do you mean by off? Does it sound low or what? I can turn it up a little bit. No, it's good for me. You sound far away. I don't know, man. I don't know. Give me 1 second. The mic sounds different. That is weird. That is very weird. Everything is hooked up right. The mic sounds different. Sounds far away. Hold on 1 second. Let me listen to it myself. Hold on 1 second, guys. Let me listen to it myself. Hold on for Nate Diaz because he's on the last fight of his deal. So it does sound a little bit weird. For lack of a better word, what Nate Diaz said in his tweet, they're slow. I don't believe it's. Why does it sound like that? No, it's not. I don't think it's that. It sounds like it's picking up background noise. Let me make sure some weird setting isn't enabled. Oh, hold on. No, the wrong mic is selected somehow. Watch this. Everything should be good now. Somehow my mic was disabled. It was coming through the audio was coming from my camera. So it should sound right now. Let me double check and make sure it sounds right. I don't know how that happened. So it should sound right now. Let me double check and make sure it sounds right. I don't know how that happened. Yeah, and I checked it, and it was my mistake because I'm used to seeing Cam Link, which is my camera, and so I thought it was on the right setting. Even though I checked the right settings, I saw that it was the wrong setting, but I thought it was right. And then when I just clicked on it and opened it up, I said, wait a second, Cam Link's my camera. It's not, because Cam Link is what I choose for my video. And then my microphone is my Focusrite audio interface. So yeah, it wasn't coming through my mic before. Somehow on StreamYard, I don't know how it happened. It got changed. It got changed, and it was coming through. That was the audio from my camera, rather than you. Hold on. Let me see. Let me show you guys something crazy real quick. Let me see. I'm gonna show you my webcam. I'm gonna show you my computer webcam, guys. You heard the terrible mic. Check this out. This is my camera webcam. Look at this. This is the webcam on my computer. I gotta change this. I can't look at this any longer. Okay, there you go. So now you guys seen the worst video and the worst audio I could possibly offer you guys. Imagine that. Imagine me coming through with that webcam. That'd be hilarious. That'd be hilarious. That's why I bought a nice camera. I want good picture quality. I can't imagine, if I disabled it, I went to my my webcam, you guys might confuse me for another MMA YouTube channel, I think. What's wild is it almost appears if I'm sitting far away from my camera, but I'm only like maybe 8 inches from my camera. because the lens is such a lens. My hand can touch the back of the camera. That's how close the camera is to me. But it's because the lens, it makes it look like it's farther away. But yeah, that was tough for sure. Okay, back to the questions. I'm glad you guys noticed. I'm glad you guys noticed the mic issue because I'd have been pissed if I went back and saw it, and I would have been annoyed. I noticed right away when I listened to it myself. I heard background noise. There should be no background noise coming from this thing, and I usually always have it about the same distance from my face, so I knew it wasn't that. I knew it had to be a setting that was messed up. Okay. Do you pay attention to any other sports other than MMA? Slightly, very slightly, but not all that much. Uh, that was tough. Yes, it is. What's up, man? Joey has water. Everything is right. That was the come up cam. Yeah. Hey, Joey, what's up, homework? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Okay. Now, what were we talking about? I don't even remember what we were talking about when someone told me my mic was off. And I'm glad you told me because really, the one thing I credit this channel, the growth of this channel to, is high quality video and high quality audio. I bought the nicest stuff so that I could have the best quality videos possible, and it would drive me nuts. It actually does drive me nuts even streaming instead of recording videos because it's the quality's a little bit lesser when you're streaming compared to actually just recording videos in general. Okay. Like night and day with the. You should go back and listen. I don't know if you were you a subscriber. I think you were before I got my new mic. Were you a subscriber before I got my new mic? My old mic was good, but now after listening to this for a while and then going back and listening to my old audio, it is insufferable. It is insufferable. My next upgrade, I really want to buy a new computer. I really, really want to buy a new computer. That's my next upgrade. Tony Ferguson versus Diaz was what we were talking about. Thank you, Judy. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think it's a fight that makes perfect sense. Tony Ferguson would take the fight at 170. Nate Diaz would want the fight at 170. Stylistically, I don't think you can get a better stylistic matchup than Tony Ferguson versus Nate Diaz. I would kill to see that fight. If I was a billionaire, like if I was, Bill Gates or Elon Musk or whoever, I would go to the UFC and say, look, I'll pay for it. I don't care how much it costs. Give me Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson. Make it happen. I don't care what it costs. Because that fight, I've been. You guys can go back on the channel. I think before I even got my new mic, I was begging for Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson. I would absolutely love that fight. Who would your early lean be in Diaz Ferguson? Definitely Ferguson. Ferguson would just probably butcher him on the feet, but it'd be competitive. I think he could have gone either way, to be honest. But I would lean Ferguson just because the pressure, the volume. I think Nate's a little bit better striker, but I don't know if he could deal with the volume that Tony Ferguson puts out. So, but I would definitely it wouldn't surprise me if Nate won. What's next for Sean Bird? I think he's going to have to wait around to see this division play out a little bit. Maybe the winner of Neil Magny, Shavkat Rakhmonov, which is coming up in a few weeks. That could be another option. I wouldn't mind seeing him against like Gilbert Burns or Wonderboy Thompson, but Wonderboy don't want that fight. That's a bad stylistic matchup for him. He doesn't want that fight, which is sad. But I get it. At the end of the day, I understand why he doesn't want it. He's tired of getting taken down and out grappled in every single fight. Maybe he needs to go work on that. I don't think Ferguson and Diaz will ever happen, to be honest. Makes tons of sense though, like you said. Yeah, for sure. It makes so much sense, but it's probably never going to happen. Pretty hard fight to pick. Yeah, I'm not confident. I just feel like Diaz wants to fight way before Tony would be ready. It could be. Diaz has good boxing. I don't know why they don't make Diaz Poirier. Did you see the Pudzianowski KO? I haven't been watching boxing, so I have no idea. What if Levitt subs Patty? Where does that put him? Career ender. If he loses to Levitt, I don't see how he ever recovers from that. That man is so juicy and jacked. What's going on besides you? Hope you're doing well. Joey, at all fighters currently on a losing streak, who is most likely to becoming champion? Give me some options, man. Give me some options. I need some people to pick out of. Who do you got in a... Stop it. I was like, what? Hypothetically, do you think Wonderboy would be too elusive for Dustin Probably, but maybe Dustin could out-grapple him. Maybe. Just maybe Dustin could out-grapple him, but I don't know. It's not boxing, it's Polish MMA. Where do you watch that at? Dustin might lose to Diaz because Diaz jiu-jitsu. I think Poirier would win, but I think Diaz has far more of a chance to beat him than people would give him credit for. 100% would have more chance to win than people would give him credit for, which is actually kind of sad. I can tell you another fight that makes tons of sense but will never happen. Tony Ferguson versus Conor McGregor. I would love to see Tony Ferguson versus Conor McGregor, but it probably doesn't happen. But I think there's a real possibility it could, but it's kind of doubtful. I would agree with you. It's kind of doubtful. So we'll see. Only time will tell. I feel like after getting brutally KO'd by Michael Chandler, Conor's like licking his lips now. He wants Tony Ferguson now. You know, this guy's like a vulture. He's ready to pick the carcass of anyone he thinks he can beat in a return. I think Wonderboy should retire. I mean, he's probably going to end up one of those guys in PFL fighting for $1 million, prizes, would be my guess. I think Conor would smoke Tony, sadly, even though they are both not in their prime. Tony is very hittable, and Conor does have very accurate striking. So I could see it happening, but if he doesn't get Tony out of there in the first or second round, it's going to be a tough night for him for sure. Because Tony's never going to stop pressuring him. Never, ever going to stop pressuring him. Tony Ferguson, Cody Garbrandt, Jorge Masvidal, Dominic Reyes. Most likely to be champion. It's not going to be Cody Garbrandt. It's definitely not going to be Jorge Masvidal. It's not going to be Tony, unfortunately, either. It would have to be Dominic Reyes. Dominic Reyes would be most likely to recapture the belt. So, whoop, whoop. I don't know what that means. I think Tony would heel hook Conor, catch him with something slick. That'd be awesome. I'd love to see Tony. I'm saying Tony Ferguson beating Conor McGregor would be the highlight of my MMA watching, to be quite honest. But I doubt it. I doubt he's going to heel hook him like that. I'm looking for something really quick. Let's see if they got any cool canvas plus photo. They don't got nothing cool. I was looking for like a Charles Oliveira autograph. They don't have nothing Charles Oliveira autographed other than the event poster. Come on now. $600. That's garbage. That is garbage. Okay, let's continue. Continue. Did you hear about the shooting? Yeah, I did. Unfortunately, I did. Conor would want to fight Ferguson now that he's older, but prime Ferguson Conor cowered away. Charles Oliveira responded to some fan on Twitter that the UFC did give him a fight. What do you mean they did give him a fight? That's the sound of police? What are you talking about? I don't know what we're talking about there. What are your thoughts on Alex Pereira? I think his striking is very, very good. I think the UFC wants to fast track him to a title shot. I think the middleweight division is conducive to his style because there's not a lot of heavy grapplers within that division. And I think the few grapplers that there are, the UFC's keeping him away from. They're fast tracking him by putting him against Sean Strickland, who's a top 10 ranked guy. If he goes out there and blows the doors off of Sean Strickland, which is a favorable matchup for him. If there's any top guy that Alex Pereira can beat and beat impressively, my pick would be Sean Strickland. If he beats Sean Strickland, he's going to fight Izzy for the title. They have the history, the 2 kickboxing bouts. I don't know if Pereira is going to beat Izzy. I haven't seen the entire bouts from when they originally fought. And at the same time, I don't know if Izzy's still the same fighter. You know, he's probably a much advanced fighter since then. I'd love to see that matchup, and it'd be some fresh meat for the middleweight division. So I actually hope Alex Pereira beats Sean Strickland. If Conor beats Ferguson, now I won't give that win no credit because they should have fought the guy when he was winning. Okay? Do you collect any UFC cards? I would like to, but I don't even know where to get them. I collect MMA memorabilia in general. Charles Oliveira autographed tampered weight and scale. Yeah. Sign me up. I'll buy it. Sign me up. I still want to see Conor Masvidal. That's the whole reason Conor went up to 170. I would love to see Conor versus Masvidal, But it just seems like the UFC thinks, I have 2 stars on my hands, and I don't want to have one of them lose. And if they match Conor up with Masvidal, they're going to have one of them lose. I think they're going to try to give Conor a favorable matchup in his return. I think they're going to try to give Masvidal a favorable matchup in his next fight. And then maybe they could fight each other. So it's easy to beat a guy when he's older in the decline versus... I would slightly lean Tony Ferguson in that fight anyway. Do you think Strickland is really a psycho? Bare minimum, he's doing that shit for attention. And at the same time, I think if you're doing that for attention, something's off. So 50-50. What's up, MMA Joey? Thoughts on Hill versus Santos matchup? I like it. I think Hill's going to win. It's hard for me to pick against Jamal Hill at this point. He looks like an absolute killer. Thiago Santos is on the downturn of his career. I don't think he's ever been the same. I hate to go off the UFC narrative, but I don't think he's been the same since hurting his knees in the John Jones fight. You tear all those ligaments in your knee, and it's going to be hard for you to come back the same. Rank them from best to worst. McKinney, Dawson, Puelles, and Moises. Whew. Is it Grant Dawson, right? Let's see. Best, I'll go McKinney. Second best, I'll go... So McKinney, I'll say, is the best. Second best, this is tough. Guys, rank it in the chat. Let me know what your guys' rankings are. I'll say McKinney's the best. I'll say Moises is the second best. I'll say Puelles is the third best, and Dawson is the fourth best. Off the top of my head. Strickland definitely doing it for attention. He looks soft last match. Yeah, dude talks about killing people and all this stuff, and he goes out there and throws jabs and swings at air for the majority of the fight. He's a boring fighter. I missed your stream the other day. My bad, Joey. No big deal, man. You're here now. That's all that matters, White Magic. What's the future hiding for Charles Jourdain? I'm sad we never got that Topuria matchup. I don't know. Does he have a fight? I don't know who he should fight. Who would you like to see Paul Craig fight next? If Glover Teixeira loses to Yuri, I'd like to see him fight Glover Teixeira. That'd be a very compelling matchup. Do you know Daniel? If yes, what do you think of him as a fighter? No, I do not. I have no idea what that means. What's up, MMA Joey? What's up, Keep Out? Donald Cerrone finally responded to Anthony Smith. What did he say? Let me know what he said. I'm curious. I think Jarrett will bring out the best in Izzy again like Costa did. Yeah, I see Izzy looking very, very impressive in the Cannonier matchup. For sure. Ariel Helwani versus Dana White. Who takes it? Dana has... I don't even care. I have no idea. Strickland said he was scared of getting knocked out against Hermanson. I don't know how he's going to deal with Pereira's power. I didn't hear him say that, but if he's scared of getting knocked out by Hermanson, he's probably going to get knocked out by Pereira. I'm wondering if Strickland's going to try to grapple him. That's what I'm curious about. What's his game plan going into that fight? Charles Jourdain will fight Burgos. Is that official? That's not official, right? That's a great matchup. Thoughts on Jimmy Crute? I used to think he was good, but I don't think he's going anywhere, to be honest. After what Anthony Smith did to him, who else just beat him? Was it Jamal Hill that just beat him? Yeah, was it Jamal Hill? Let me look that up. Now I forgot that quick. Jimmy Crute. Yeah, he just lost. He got KO'd by Jamal Hill. Quick, too, I remember. It was quick in the first round. It was in the first minute. And then he lost to Anthony Smith. Yeah, he doesn't... I think Jimmy Crute is going to be a guy that's just like a perennial, like, maybe a gatekeeper of the top 15 in general. If Fiziev versus Gillespie happened, who do you think... Do you think Fiziev can stop Gillespie's takedowns and win the fight, or Gillespie will win? I'd go Fiziev. I think Fiziev's striking would help him. I think he'd chew up the legs of Gillespie. I think he would be prepared for the relentlessness. I could see Fiziev winning the first 2 rounds. And then possibly losing the 3rd round as he gets a little bit tired. Come on, Joe. What's a good path for Charles Jourdain? Shane Burgos. Shane Burgos. Cerrone said that he was drunk. That's not an excuse. By her. Or you don't care that much. Why didn't that pop up? I'm not watching. I don't even know how to watch, to be honest. And it's not going to let you send a link in the chat, unfortunately. So, we'll see. Who's next for Dominic Reyes? Who's next for Dominic Reyes? He needs to, I mean, he's been out a long while. He needs a rebound fight. Johnny Walker would make a lot of sense. Johnny Walker right now would make a lot of sense. Nate versus Tony is the fight to make. Fighters currently, but not sure how long Tony takes off and how quickly. Yeah, that is the fight to make. Love your work, Joe. Keep it up. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying it. It will continue. I'm trying to grow the channel. We're going to get 100,000 subscribers in the next 2 years. We'll see if that can actually happen or not. Gillespie is back in the rankings now, ranked 8. Guess that means he must have taken a fight. Fighters who aren't taking fights should be removed from the rankings. Is he now? No, he's not. I'm looking at their website right now. I don't see him in the rankings. So, you're wrong. You're wrong. He's not in the rankings right now. I'm going to refresh. I mean, I just pulled this up. Yeah, he's not in the rankings. I don't know what rankings you're looking at. Can you see Darren Till making a leap and becoming a true contender? No. If they did a fight with Justin Gaethje versus Jorge Masvidal, who do you think would win? I'd probably pick Jorge. He's just too much of a size advantage. Who is your favorite current fighter? Mine was Izzy, but I've been swaying Volk. Favorite fighter to watch? Probably Charles Oliveira. Favorite fighter in general that's currently still active? Probably Jose Aldo. Joe, have you ever watched Kingdom, best TV show about MMA fights? No, I have not, unfortunately. Let me see something real quick. Give me 1 second, guys. If I can figure out how to do this. Is that boxing match on right now? Maybe I'll turn it on if I can find it real quick. Do you think John Jones is going to be coming back? I hope so. I really want to see John Jones back in action. I just lost my spot. Yeah, but I hope John Jones comes back. I want to see John Jones versus Ngannou or John Jones versus Stipe. Okay. Tony Ferguson versus Jorge Masvidal wouldn't be bad. I don't really want to see that. Jack Shore versus Umar Nurmagomedov. Who do you got? I'd probably take Umar Nurmagomedov. I mean, the guy just has an insane sense of urgency in his fights. He seems so fast, so well-rounded everywhere. Jack Shore seems very well-rounded as well. But I would lean Umar Nurmagomedov. And I'm very high on Jack Shore as well. Prime Barboza versus Prime Aldo. I'm assuming you're asking who would win. Prime Aldo. Which deserves round of the year so far? McKinney versus Dober 1 or Charles Justin? I'll say Charles Justin. Amazing. On my UFC Fight Pass app, it has Gillespie tied at number 8. That's the updated rankings because Pajeda got put in after Pont. Yeah, on their official website, Gillespie's not in there. That's all I'm saying. Who do you got, Tuivasa or Gane? I got Gane. I mean, I don't see how Tuivasa wins that fight. I have no idea how Tuivasa wins that fight at all. So, I mean, he's just going to get picked apart from the outside. I guess Tuivasa could, land a KO shot, but I don't know. I have no idea. Song Yudong versus Rob Font, 5-round fight night main event. I don't know why I had trouble reading that. I have no problem with that. I would love that fight. That's a great fight. Yeah, but it won't let you. It's not going to let you send links on here. Yes, Joey. Yes, John. Yeah, the links won't come through. It's just naturally blocked. You can't send links in the chat. Only I can send links in the chat, unfortunately. It's just a safety feature. So we don't get spammed in here with weird links and stuff like that. Most obvious fighter in the wrong weight class. Most obvious fighter in the wrong weight class. Maybe Davison Figueiredo. He seems awfully big for flyweight. Another one. I don't know, man. This is a tough one. Who else? Chris Dawkins, maybe? Shouldn't be at heavyweight. Maybe he should be at light heavyweight, I would say. Or Paulo Costa. That's a good one. But I think Paulo Costa can make it. I think he was injured in his last fight. Let me see something. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Yeah, but Paulo Costa, it sucks that his fight got moved from 277. That kind of made 277 like really solid. Hopefully they add something else to it. You know what else is great? Tony versus Chandler, because he got caught. Yeah, but they're not going to make that fight. That fight's not going to get made. I think Yuri will get a hold of that belt for a while, maybe even pull John back into light heavyweight. I don't think John's ever coming back to light heavyweight. I find that hard to believe. Did you watch UCL final, aka soccer, today? No, I did not. How could tall fighters like Joel Alvarez and Turner take advantage of their height? I guess by using their reach, using their limbs to scramble on the ground. Khamzat versus Adesanya. Who wins? Adesanya defends the takedown and butchers him on the feet, is my opinion. Mozart Evalev in the long weight class. Dude is tiny. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'm interested to see how he looks in size comparison to Dan Ige. But he is kind of small. There you go. I don't even know what that means, but okay. I do know what it means, but who do you think is next for Jorge Masvidal? It should be Conor, but it's probably going to be like Nick Diaz, Nate Diaz, something along those lines. I would love for it to be Conor. I find it hard to have any sympathy for Colby. I agree it was cowardly cheap shot, but continues to play stupid games and you will get... Yeah, I don't care. We talked about it in depth. The night that it happened, I jumped on stream. I was on stream just like this random stream. And I said, you know, when you talk the way he talks, and, you know, people can say, oh, he didn't talk about his family or his kids. And we are actually argue about this on stream. When someone says you don't talk about someone's wife and kids, they don't mean like, oh, you had to directly call them a name. Just bringing them up when you're talking crap about you. And, you know, when you play those sorts of games, and it's all fine and good in the promotion of fights, but then afterwards, when there's some type of consequences for it, where everyone's going to be clutching their pearls. I mean, the dude was talking mad crap, and he told him, if I see you in the street, I'm going to punch you in your jaw. And he saw him in the street, and he punched him in the jaw. And at the end of the day, depending on what Jorge has to pay, I think it might have been the best business decision he ever did. Because, you know, he got beat up in that 5-round fight. And now he went out there, and in his mind, in a lot of his fans' mind, this isn't what I think. This is not my thought process. He redeemed himself. There's people that are going to be out there saying he won the rematch. Jorge Masvidal won the rematch. Like it or not, that's what people are going to say. They're going to be like, yeah, Jorge got the last laugh. He knocked your teeth down your throat, you know? And Jorge's never going to fight him again. It's not going to happen. So I think it might have been a good business decision for his overall legacy in a way. But I don't have sympathy for either guy. I don't like it. I don't dislike it. I don't care. I'm not going to clutch my pearls when a pro fighter who was talking mad crap about another pro fighter personally and arguably taking it a little bit too far in some people's minds. I don't personally care. And then he gets punched in the mouth. I don't care. When he tells you he's going to do something, take it for what it will. Right now, currently, Jorge versus Wonderboy, who wins? I think Wonderboy wins. Nick Diaz should stay in Stockton. I agree. Danny Ige, small featherweight, too. Evalev might even be slightly bigger than him. Yeah, that's what I'm interested to see. What division has the most depth? unequivocally 135 pounds. I think Costa mentally destroyed when he got humped by Izzy. Can't make weight. Has speaking crazy. He lost his. Yeah. Costa has been acting weird since then. Has been acting weird since then. So Masvidal did the right thing. There you go. Jorge did nothing wrong in my opinion. That's fair enough. I don't necessarily like it, but at the same time, I understand it. I'm not going to clutch my pearls and cry about it. There's media out there. There's YouTube MMA YouTubers out there crying about it. Like, how dare he throw a cheap shot? Like, dude, come on now. He said he was going to do this. Why are you clutching your pearls about it? You know, it was all fine and dandy. It was all fine and dandy in the promotion of the fight. But the second something happens after that, y'all are going to cry about it. Disturbing. Should Korean Zombie retire? Yes. Although I agree with the hate of Colby, he does deserve to be top 15 pound for pound. Going 10. Losing fights does not get you in the top rankings pound for pound. I disagree with you, man. You cannot lose fights against the best in the world and then get into the pound for pound. That's not how it works. Now, again, the pound for pound is very subjective, but I'm tired of I'm tired of people in general. Now, I'm not just coming at you. There is too many people out there elevating fighters off of losses. You know, it happened with Gustafsson back at 165 when he fought John Jones and he lost. He lost the fight. Well, he did so good. Well, he lost. Colby Covington got elevated off both of his fights against Kamaru Usman. Well, what happened in both those fights? One fight, he got his jaw broken. He got stopped via TKO. The second was a close decision for Kamaru Usman. He lost both of them. How are we going to elevate him off of 2 losses? And I get it. I still consider Colby one of the best in the world, but look at his garbage resume. It's a garbage resume. You know, he's refused a lot of fights. I still consider him one of the best, but come on, now we want to throw him in the pound for pound rankings because of losses? Jeez Louise. Let's just throw everyone that's ever fought John Jones in the pound for pound then. Why isn't Thiago Santos in there? Why isn't Dominic Reyes in there? We just throw them all in there. Who win if they fought, Demir or Gamrot? I'll say Gamrot. I'm too poor to clutch my pearls. I'm clutching my stainless steel necklace. Okay? The only thing I did not like the way they set him up. Dude clearly I don't know, man. I don't pay attention to that garbage. But Colby will get the last laugh. It will be too easy for him to win in court, even if it ain't as much as he would like. Yeah, but I think no matter how much Masvidal has to give up, court order to give up, that I think it's worth it for his reputation. Imagine had Colby said, you know what? I saw him out in the streets and he did nothing. You'll do nothing, as Conor McGregor would say. Imagine if he said, yeah, I seen Masvidal. He didn't do shit. I mean, look at Colby was talking mad shit too. He was saying, if I see you in the streets of Miami, I'm going to dump you on your head. He was talking mad crap too. Do you think Beneil would beat the winner of Dustin Chandler? No. I think Beneil would lose to both of them. The biggest UFC upset in your opinion? Either Pena beating Nunes or maybe Dillashaw beating Renan Barão. What fights do you think they should set up for Cruz? I would love to see Cruz versus Sandhagen in a 5-round fight. I love that, or Cruz versus Aldo. Who do you think is the most overrated active fighter? Most overrated active fighter. Whew, that's a tough question. Who do people think is really, really good, but they're not that good? Probably Sean O'Malley. Honestly, they act like the guy's a future champion. He's beat nothing but, you know, I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to go there. But he hasn't beat a lot of top talent. Let's put it that way. He hasn't beat any top talent. And people act like he's already the champion. Khabib's resume is padded for being the so-called GOAT. Charles is one fight away from being better. Fair enough. Which kind of matchmaking you hate, but UFC keep booking it? I don't know, man. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Imagine how epic it would be if Paulo Costa walked out to Ricky Martin, live La Vida Loca. If he's really a troll, he should do it. It would be amazing. Paulo Costa's hilarious on Twitter. Tony said he's going to go to 170. I personally think it for him. Working reason. Why isn't it working? Okay, the biggest upset in the UFC was Holly Holmes beating Ronda Rousey. Dana was mad as hell. Okay, but everyone knows that hit him blindside is a but he did it anyway. Hold on, it's showing me issues with my Wi-Fi again, so now I got to disconnect and reconnect. I will be, if it drops out, it'll only be a second, and I should be right back. I'm just going to try to fix this issue. I don't want you guys having a laggy stream at all. Okay, we should be back. Hopefully it's working better now. O'Malley is arguably champ. Yeah, you're right. I forgot that. How much will Colby be suing Masvidal for? How much will he get from suing Masvidal, in your opinion? A lot. I'll say a couple $100,000. Would you like to be a Burns? Would you like a Burns versus Bilal or Brady versus Bilal? I like either one of those. If I had to pick one, I'd say Burns versus Bilal. Best press conference of all time. The ones lately have been kind of weak. Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor. The first one was amazing. Absolutely amazing. In the gym. It was when it was on short notice, and they booked a press conference between the two. And the gym was packed. They had security guards everywhere. It was hilarious. UFC 196 presser. Could Volk beat Charles Oliveira? Could Volk beat Charles Oliveira and get the lightweight belt? I'm assuming is what you're asking. Yes, he could. I could see Volk is probably the toughest challenge for Charles Oliveira right now, in my opinion. I think Volk is probably tougher than Islam, but Islam may get it done as well. I'm playing a game. What's up, French fries? No big deal, man. Hope you're doing well. How much do you think testosterone levels are a factor in fighters' ability, cardio, etc.? Most seem to have naturally high testosterone. I think it's probably a massive factor. And I think a lot of these guys, I remember TRT Vitor was getting jacked up on TRT, and he was an absolute animal. So I think it's a massive factor in power, speed, cardio. My nose is itching again. Okay, read that. Right now, who does McGregor have a better chance against, Usman or Charles? Definitely Charles. He's not beating Usman. Usman would drop him on his head, like Colby said he was going to do to Masvidal. Usman would just pick him up and dump him right on his head. Probably KO him, Jordan Levitt, Matt Weidman style. Merab versus O'Malley. Who do you got? I would love that matchup. I'd probably take Merab. I think Merab probably out-grapples him, but O'Malley could KO him for sure. Do you stream in a particular time or randomly? I stream every single Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. And I also stream immediately following every single pay-per-view. Every other stream is random. If you become a member, I let you guys know on the Discord chat like an hour or 2 hours beforehand. So if you want to become a member, the link is down in the description. But every Wednesday, 6 p.m., and after every pay-per-view, immediately after the fights, I'm streaming. What's next for Frankie Edgar? I would Rafael Sunsao. I think that makes a lot of sense. Either that, or it's going to be somebody else outside the top 15. To be honest, I don't want to see him fighting up the rankings. Everyone behind the rankings. How do you get the Discord link? Go to UFC Enthusiast. You're already a member. So you go to my YouTube channel. You go over to membership. And it should say show perks info. And at the bottom it says instructions. Click here to join the members only Discord. And you should be able to click there and join the Discord. So there you go. Is it just me, or let me know if you have any trouble? A lot of MMA pretty annoying and basically dorks. Hey Joe, you could do better than those goofs. A lot of who? MMA what? I don't know. I think you missed a word there. So let me know what you mean. MMA media. Okay. Yeah, I do not like the MMA media at all. I think a lot of them are biased. A lot of them are pushing certain narratives for clicks. A lot of them are shilling for the UFC. A lot of them are incredibly dishonest. They take they take tweets, for instance, and make a whole story out of it, and it's like literally like, oh, Conor McGregor tweeted this with one. That's it. That's the whole article. It's garbage. MMA media, I think a lot of them in general are fearful of retribution from the UFC. So they can't openly speak their mind. They can only do it to a certain extent. And that's why they are the way they are. For me, I'm on here. I don't care about a fighter's cult following. I don't care what the UFC thinks. I don't care what anybody thinks. I don't care if everyone in here, disagrees with me. I'm going to give you my honest opinion regardless. But I would love to be actually an MMA media member. I would love it. Go to events, ask questions. I think I could do a good job of it. Damian Maia wants one more fight before he retires from the UFC. Do you have a preferred matchup for him? I guess if Nick Diaz wants to get back in there, throw him in there with Nick Diaz. Outside of that, I don't know. I don't really want to see him fight any of these guys. I think it's disrespectful to make him fight somebody out of the top 15. And maybe let him fight Shavkat. If Shavkat beats Neil Magny, let him fight Shavkat. But I don't know. What do you make of Sage Northcutt's potential? Hasn't fought since the brutal. No, I think Sage Northcutt is never going to be anything. But I think he's still pretty young. Let me take a look. So you never know. I think he was always overhyped by the UFC. He's 26 years old. Yeah, I think that brutal KO from Cosmo Alexander, I think. Or Alexandre? I don't remember. All the way back in May 2019. He hasn't fought in 3 years. Yeah, he's never fighting again. He seemed pretty smart. He'll probably go do something else. I would if I was him. Step your game up with the questions, viewers of Joe. Yeah, there you go, guys. Fill the chat. Fill the chat with questions, guys. That's why I do these streams, to talk to you guys, answer your questions. Why does the one guy always ask the first question in press conferences? Mario, that is a great question, and I actually do know the answer to that question. Basically, he's just always the first guy there. There's a UFC correspondent that works with the UFC that carries around the microphone. And instead of waiting, they just always give John Morgan. His name is John Morgan. He used to work for MMA Junkie. He now works for another website. I don't remember. Instead of waiting until somebody gets up, they just automatically give him the question. They give him the microphone to start it off with. I saw a picture of Izzy and his gyno and the right nipple is back. How did he manage to escape USADA since gyno is caused by steroids, marijuana? My money's on both. I have no idea. I'm not a medical expert. He could be cheating. He could not be cheating. I haven't a clue. As a steroid user, I can confirm that there's other reasons for gyno other than just steroids. Just steroids and cannabis. Okay, there you go. I'm sure there probably is. That's why I don't talk about it too much. I'm open to the fact that anybody could be on roids, but at the same time, I think a lot of people go for certain people just because of their dislike for that certain person. So there you go. Let's see. What steroids do you use? I'm assuming you're talking to UFC enthusiasts, but that's hilarious. I'm on roids. You can tell, right? Okay, let's go look at something real quick. I want to see something. What? I'm probably going to start. I'm going to do two prediction videos for next week. Co-main and main event. Do you guys have any other video suggestions that you guys would like to see? No promises. I'm just curious. No promises. I want to go check a couple things out real quick. Guys, keep the questions coming. I'll read them in a second. I'm just checking a couple things out on the channel. Top moment. Okay, great. If you guys haven't watched my UFC 275 video, you should go watch it ASAP. Oof. Looks like my Patty Pimlet video is doing very, very well. My UFC 276 video from a couple weeks ago is still doing great. It's still getting views every single day, like probably another 100 to 200 views per day. Okay, there we go. Okay, now I lost my spot here. Some guys are super talented, but they don't have that junkyard dog mentality. There are a difference between being trained in martial arts and being a fighter. Toughness and grit beats talent. I don't know if that's always the case, but in some cases, that's probably true. The only other athletes I see with gyno or bodybuilders, I wonder why. Well, I hate to say this, EJ, but how many other athletes are roaming around with their shirts off? So, you know what I mean? NBA players, they're wearing shirts. NFL players, they're wearing uniforms. So what other sports? I'm trying to think of another sport outside of MMA that you're constantly, that you are constantly shirtless, and you could tell. Pena versus Nunes 2. Pena versus Nunes 2. What was that about? Yeah, how about a video of why UFC should stop doing Apex fights? Okay, maybe I will do that. I don't want to distract from Joey's live, so you can message me on Twitter at the same handle about that. Haha, it's in-depth. I respect Joey's con. Okay, man, I appreciate it. What's with all the members changing their names? I don't know if anybody has. I think UFC Enthusiast has always been UFC Enthusiast. And I think Savage Mr. Fox. Did you change your name, or you've always been Savage Mr. Fox since you signed up? I don't know about Savage Mr. Fox. I've seen a lot of UFC media sites saying they want Michael Pajada to fight someone in the top 10 after this win. But me personally, I feel like a fight with Li Jingliang is perfect, 13 versus 14. I agree. Pajada has not impressed me at all. Not impressed me at all. Let me go take a look. Ranking the number one contender in every division video. That's an idea. I don't know, man. I don't know if that'll work out, though, because I feel like most of those are pretty obvious. I'll think about it. You give me something to think about. That's why I said no promises, but I'm open to video ideas. Maybe we are getting a lot of new members. I feel like we have. I don't remember. I feel like we probably have like 6 or 7, maybe 8 people with the new member badge. Nick Diaz says he wants Usman. He couldn't make 170 against Lawler and quit due to straight delusional. Yeah. We talked about this yesterday, man. It's honestly quite sad. It's quite sad. Let me see something really quick. Let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people with new member badges. We have 7 people with new member badges. If anybody wants to become a member of the channel, it's $3 a month. Here is the link. I posted it in the chat. $3 a month. You get a bunch of benefits. And when the channel gets big, I will remember who were early on MMA Joey members. So remember that. And also, in the future, when the chats get crazy, I don't know when that'll be. Maybe by the end of the year, maybe next year. I will make sure to prioritize member comments for sure. Joey, on a scale from 1 to 10, how excited are you for the new video, Weasel's new video on Championships of Nightmare? I'm not even going to watch it. That's how, 0. Your comment about toughness, grit, beating talent is absolutely ridiculous. It takes talent, toughness, and grit to win. No other way. I took it as if someone is equally as talented, or someone with a little less talent but a lot more toughness and grit could win. Not just a little bit of, highly talented or no talent with toughness and grit. That's the way I took it, and that's why I said it was okay. The Weasel's so biased for Russians, it's unbearable. I don't even watch him, so I don't know. I've heard that before, though. I think UFC fighters should wear shirts, okay? Blaze One, thank you for being a member, my friend. I appreciate you. With the Nate Diaz emoji, Dana White emoji, Sleepy Conor McGregor emoji, which is my personal favorite. I love the Sleepy Conor McGregor emoji. That's my favorite emoji. And as we add members, I can add more emojis based on your guys' request. So let me X out of some of this crap I have up on screen. I don't need that tab open anymore. Okay. Video ideas, hardest divisions to crack the top 5. Okay, there's another idea. Hasn't been any news for a few days. Yeah, let's go look at a website real quick and see what's been going on. There's really been nothing. Aljamain Sterling reveals purse. Nick Diaz possible return. Dustin Poirier responds to Michael Chandler comments. He's never beaten anybody coming off a win in the UFC. Well, if he beat you, he wouldn't be either. Paul Craig explains how... Yeah, there's literally nothing. I'll probably put out a prediction video tomorrow and Monday. And then I'll see, after tonight's stream, I'll probably see you guys for a stream on... I'll see you for the Wednesday stream. Tonight will probably be the last stream until Wednesday. I would guess. Tank Davis, for real, my favorite boxer. Amazing KO. Let me go check it out. Let's go see if I can find it. Did anybody post it? Let's go. I'm going to go to Twitter real quick and take a look. Let me take a look. Amazing KO. Let's take a look. Look, Khamzat's tweeting, where are you at, Colby Covington, and tagging him. I won Khamzat versus Colby. That's a massive fight. I don't see anything. But then again, Twitter's all out of order. Let's see if I can refresh and see if I can find something. Jeez Louise, there's a screenshot of the KO. I'm looking for the KO itself. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Ooh, slunk him into the ropes. Slunk him into the ropes. He's up. He waves it off. They don't give him a chance to continue. Do that. Let's see the replay. Let's see if we can see the replay. Hold on. They got into a fight afterwards? What's going on here? Man, that's... see, I don't like that. Getting in somebody's face that you just KO'd. I feel like that's kind of grimy. They're showing it. I feel like it's... But I guess from Baltimore, you know how it is. They don't even show the replay in this video? Oh, it was a massive left hook. Whew. Guy was moving forward, too, in round 6. Hit him with a right hook. Was ripping to the body and got clipped bad. Yeah, I would never pay for that, but we saw it now. We saw it. Hold on 1 second. Guys, if you have not already, like the stream. Like the stream. What's up, Andy? Hope you're doing well. What's next weekend's UFC event? Rosenstruck versus Volkov. When UFC will announce Oliveira Islam fight? Hopefully soon. I don't know why you keep sending the same message, bro. I don't know why Robert is sending the same message. I'm saying there are guys who are super talented but kind of pansy that don't like getting punched hard, fold easily, durability. Yeah, I think I know what you meant. Yeah, live I had it Romero 48-47, but there are definitely argument for 3-2 Izzy. Yeah, I scored it for Romero as well. Although I thought Romero won, but we all lost watching that fight. What do you think should be added to 277 after Costa Rockhold has been removed? Nate Diaz versus Dustin Poirier. Romero. Really wish we would have gotten Yo Romero versus Anthony Rumble Johnson. Just glad Rumble's back. Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. It's crazy. Ooh, my man Blatant Express. Thank you for the donation, my friend. Joey, who do you have in the upcoming Chukagian Mint? Is that not her name? Hold on 1 second. For some reason, I feel like I'm having a brain fart, but is that not her name? Is it Manenfurit? Manenfurit? Is it Manenfurit? Yeah, Manenfurit. Let's see what you said, because I was completely thrown off. Yeah, I knew that wasn't the name. But I know what you meant. I have fear it. I think she's going to outstrike her, but that's actually a compelling matchup. I'm very interested in that fight. UFC Paris card is looking pretty solid. Uh, it's the fight to make. It's the fight to make. I'm glad Chukagian is still in the weight class, especially considering there were some talks that the UFC wasn't going to re-sign her. She's the second best at flyweight. How are you not going to re-sign her? But I got man in fear, and I think after, if she does win the fight, like I speculate she will win the fight, I think that they will fast track her to a title shot against Valentina Shevchenko. So yeah, I knew what you meant, but I just had to look it up because I could not remember how to pronounce the name. I think it's Manon Fiorot is how you pronounce it. But I think she wins. I think Fiorot wins. I just think she's too good. She's too young. Her striking's better. I think she's going to have a sense of urgency where Chukagian just it's either going to be a decision most likely. But I think Manon Fiorot, it's her time. I think she's going to prove. A lot of people are very high on her, and I think she's going to prove that she belongs with the elite of the elite at women's flyweight. We got Makhmed Muradov versus, I can't pronounce his name. We got Chukagian versus Fiorot. We got Robert Whittaker, Marvin Vettori, which is unconfirmed. And we got Cyril Gane versus Tai Tuivasa, which I believe is actually still unconfirmed as well. So... yeah, I'm really excited for that. And thank you again for the super chat, man. Appreciate you. Okay. Really wish we would have got... Okay, read that. Do you think UFC should continue doing contender series to give talent pool some... Yeah, I think they should wait. I mean, it's not that great. It's not that great. What's up, Joey? Sorry, I've been busy. I haven't been tuning in recently. Been busy. No big deal, man. Appreciate you being here now. Who do they give Chris Weidman when he comes back? Maybe him versus Walker in a light heavyweight match? I don't know, man. I don't know. Chris Weidman's going to have a tough time. I don't know if he ever returns. Yeah, probably misspelled it. Yeah, I knew who you were talking about, but for some reason, because I was reading it in my mind, I couldn't think of what the actual name was. If you were at the UFC main table, how would you address the women's featherweight division? Here's what I would do. Years ago, I would have attempted to build the talent pool, sign fighters, find talent in general from other organizations. But right now, I would just end the division, completely end the division. There's nobody in there. Awful stoppage for Romero. Casuals love Tank. He's losing soon. Awful stoppage. I don't know. Thoughts on Whittaker? I love the Robert Whittaker versus Marvin Vettori fight. I favor Whittaker, but that's a tough fight for both guys in general. In general, a very tough fight. Right on, Joey. Thanks for the answer. Great show. Thank you for the super chat, man. I always appreciate the super chat. Every dollar goes back into the channel. I'm actually probably going to buy a computer before the end of the year, and I'm going to get like a top of the line, like the best possible computer for editing. So every dollar you guys donate is going right for that. Always slapping. Do you watch every Saturday UFC card, or do you like going? I watch every Saturday's UFC card. Have for years. Do you watch women's in the early prelims and prelims? Yes, occasionally I miss some early prelims, but it's just because depending on the times. But most of the time I see about 90% of the fights. Thoughts on, and I don't choose based on women or men. I just kind of happen to miss something if I run out to grab food or something like that. Great question, Tyler. Oh, I see about the division. I just closed the division down for sure. Nick Diaz oblique side kicks destroys Usman. Stop it. Stop it right now. Lamal, UFC 278, Khamzat Leon 170 interim, Sterling versus Aldo 135 title, Rockhold, Costa, Yan, Vera, Brady, Muhammad. That's the card I'd make. I'd love that card. I'd absolutely love that card. Which middleweight out of the UFC could beat some of the top 5? Gegard Mousasi for sure. What walkout gets you pumped during a pay-per-view? Me personally, it's probably Colby. That Kurt Angle theme song is something else. Jose Aldo. At one point, Anderson Silva. What other ones? I'm trying to think. Who looks like an absolute... Charles Oliveira for sure. There's some good ones. I actually like Darren Till's walkout for sure as well. What do you do outside of YouTube job-wise? I work for a construction company. Pena or Nunes? I'm going Nunes in the rematch. Dana was watching Canelo on Rose and Zhang fight. Okay. Darren Till has the best walkout, and I was there live for one of his walkouts. UFC 244. I was there live. Are there people generally picking Max Holloway in the Volk rematch? You mean the Volk trilogy, but yes, there is people picking Max Holloway in the trilogy. We'll see if it actually happens. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the debacle of the division if he's able to pull it off? Because then what do we do? Give him a fourth fight? That's insanity. I mean, the first fight. Let me go back real quick. Let me take a look. Alexander Volkanovski. So you have the first fight that happened at UFC 251, July of 2020. Or no, it happened at 245, December of 2019. That fight was uncontroversial. That fight was clear cut for Volkanovski at UFC 245 on the Colby versus Usman 1 card. And I don't know why people thought that fight was controversial, but I guess they did. Volkanovski, I haven't watched it in a while, but Volkanovski just outscored him, and I don't remember what I scored it. The second fight was razor close. I scored it for Volkanovski. It was razor close. I can understand people saying the second fight at UFC 251, July of 2020. I understand why people thought that maybe Max Holloway won that fight. But at the same time, now he's lost twice. He's getting the trilogy fight after Volk just beat the brakes off of TKZ. I feel like Volkanovski's gotten better and better. I feel like Max has eaten more damage since that last fight. The Yair fight, he took a lot of damage as well. And I favor Volk quite a bit in the trilogy fight. Zhang won that second fight, just saying. I actually thought Zhang won as well. Is it hard to talk about UFC with casual people? No, I don't think so, depending on how they are. If a fight happened at UFC 269, who would have won, Edwards or Jorge? Edwards would have won, I think. But who knows? You never know. You never know who could possibly win. Do you think Patty makes weight? Yes, I doubt he would take the fight if he wasn't planning on making weight. The only way I see Volk losing if somehow gets tired. Well, you got to remember, Max caught him a couple times early in that second fight. Max Holloway was able to catch him. Who has a more solid argument for a title shot, Leon or Islam? I think it's about the same, and I'm okay with both of them getting the title shot, to be honest. I've been a defender of Leon. Leon's accepted countless fights, and for one reason or another, they've fallen through, and they're not really his fault. He accepted 3 fights with Khamzat, accepted a fight with Woodley coming off a loss, accepted a fight with Jorge Masvidal. I don't know if I said that. Accepted a fight with Colby Covington as well. So Leon definitely, Islam's in the same boat. Long win streak, but he's definitely accepted a lot of top names. Who is more tough and would win a fight, Nate Diaz or Tony Ferguson? They're both super tough. I'd go Tony Ferguson winning the fight. Has there ever been a UFC in your hometown? Yes, there has. UFC 172, and I went to it. So I went to that card. It was John Jones versus Glover Teixeira. UFC 172 was absolutely stacked. Let's look up UFC 172 real quick. It was all the way back in 2014. April 26, 2014. The main event, John Jones versus Glover Teixeira. Co-main event, Mr. Wonderful Phil Davis versus Anthony Rumble Johnson. Luke Rockhold, Tim Bosch. Jim Miller, Yancy Medeiros. Max Holloway, Andre Touchy-Feely. Joseph Benavidez, Tim Elliott. Takanori Gomi, Isaac Valley Flag. Jessima Duke versus Betch Gojeda. Danny Castillo versus Charlie Brenneman. Early prelims. There was a filthy knockout in the early prelims. Chris Beal versus Patrick Williams. Beautiful. I think it was a flying knee by Chris Beal. I can still picture it. Unfortunately, they haven't came back since, which really sucks, quite honestly. I wish they would come back. I don't know why they haven't come back to the arena. They should. I have a UFC 172 poster, actually. A huge event poster. It's not that great of a poster, but it was weird watching the fight back after seeing it live, though. And it took a while because it was hard to get access to the pay-per-views back then. That's when he was wrenching the elbows. He was wrenching the elbows of Glover Teixeira. Okay. My only thing with Islam is that he hasn't really faced anything great. Him versus Dariush is the fight to make. Two great grapplers will be a fun match to see, but I can understand. Yeah, but then Oliveira's got to sit out and wait? No way. What's your favorite card so far this year? I think London card is up there with the best fight nights I've seen. London is definitely the best fight night card. Best card in general, probably UFC 273. That Khamzat versus Gilbert Burns fight was phenomenal. If Volk is tired, he can't take Holloway down because his takedown defense improved a lot. If Volk gets tired, yeah, but Volk's not getting tired. If Diaz versus Chimaev going to happen, or will Diaz pull out? That's a bad matchup for him. He's accepted the fight. UFC won't make it. Which current UFC champ is less of a championship material, excluding Ngannou? What current UFC champ is less of? I don't know what you mean by that, man. Do you like Ali Abdelaziz or can't stand him? Seems like a good manager, but that fighter would want in the corner, and I can't even. This message is. I do not really like Ali Abdelaziz, but apparently a lot of fighters do. I always thought they should have did Jim Miller versus Donald Cerrone, both retire afterwards. There you go. I have no problem with that. How is it watching UFC live in the arena? It's awesome. It's awesome. It's not something I would ever want to do for every event, especially if I'm not sitting front row, but it's solid. Still can't believe that Max was taking Yair down to win, which makes me nervous for the Brian Ortega fight. Do you think Islam Makhachev getting some hate? Definitely. But it's because he has a cult-like following, you know. The Habib cult-like following or has also followed Islam Makhachev as well. So I think that's why a lot of people can't stand him. I think he meant who's the worst champ pound for pound? Aljamain Sterling probably. Do you think, if you're not including the women, do you think Ortega should have kept his choke versus Volk? Never knew why he let go. I don't think he let go. I think Volk was getting out of it. Volk was sliding his little bald head out of the choke. Would you rather hang out with John Jones or Colby for a night in Vegas? John Jones for sure. Definitely. As long as we're not getting arrested. But who knows with him for sure. Guys, if you are watching the stream and you have not liked the stream yet, make sure to like the stream. If you're watching and you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. We're up to 3,416 subscribers. Keep the questions coming. If you guys want to continue the live chat, we'll go for another 15 minutes, half hour, maybe something along those lines. There's not a whole lot of great news to talk about lately, and there's no fights this Saturday or tonight, so there's really not like results to talk about. Luckily, next Saturday we get some fights back, but that card is So, next week isn't that great, to be honest. I'm not really looking forward to anything outside the main and co-main. Let's take a look-see. We've looked at this a couple times. But, okay, UFC Fight Night, June 4th. Alexander Volkov, Jairzinho Rozenstruik, Dan Ige, Mozar Evelev, I think is how you pronounce it. Outside of that, Felice Herrig, Karolina Kowalkiewicz. This is an ugly card. Yeah. This is garbage. Straight garbage. I'm not excited for next week's card at all. Not excited at all. Yeah. Are you guys excited? Let me do a poll real quick. Are you excited for next week's UFC card? Yes or no? There we go. Are you excited? Go vote in the poll. Go vote in the poll, guys. I'm curious. Okay, let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. I think I already answered that. Answer that. If they give Aldo a title shot, what's next for TJ? Piotr Yan is the only fight to make if they give Aldo the title shot. But I don't think they'll give Aldo the title shot, to be quite honest. Ortega would probably beat Yair if he had better takedowns. He might be able to take him down. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. Why do I feel I'm the only person who likes Aljo? You probably are. You're his one fan. I don't think you'd be able to stay sober on a night out with Johnny. I don't drink, so I would be able to. As soon as Ortega takes down Yair, he's getting subbed. I agree. Why are you saying Lamau and Arrow to your own comment? That's a little bit strange, but okay. Can Cody Garbrandt find his way back to being top 5 bantamweight? Absolutely not. If you were a fighter, would you rather be making money fighting at Eagle FC against trash cans or fight for the UFC but your pay be dropped? Depends how much it dropped. But probably fighting trash cans in Eagle FC for more money. Aaron Blanchfield is fighting on the card. Solid prospect at only 23. Very true. Thank you for pointing that out. Now that you mention it, I ain't that hyped for next week's card. I'm sorry, Mario. I'm sorry, man. I hate being down. I hate being down on the UFC. But it's just what it is, what it is. I want to see who has the best dancing moves after Patty versus Jordan Levitt. Do you think the narrative is true that people don't care that much for Adesanya fights anymore, so they always stack his cards to prove that he is still a draw? Absolutely not. I mean, that's irrelevant to the UFC. The reason UFC 1 or 276 is stacked is because it's International Fight Week. You go back and you look at his cards. I mean, what's his last fight? Who did he just fight? Robert Whittaker. UFC 271 was garbage. I mean, Derek Lewis, Taito Avasa, Jared Cannonier, Brunson, Alex Hernandez, Hanato Moicano, Bobby Green, Nasrat Haparas. It wasn't garbage, but it wasn't stacked. I mean, that was not a great card. It was an okay card. One of the worst pay-per-views of the year. So no, I don't subscribe to that. I think somebody made that up. It was Lamau. Okay, where is Song Yadong going to go in the next 5 years? He's only 24 right now. Looks like he's doing amazing. Could be a potential champion. French Fries Blanchfield is the only fight I'm really looking forward to. What's crazy is Blanchfield is opening the card versus JJ Aldridge. That's why I missed it. Do we know what's next for Sandhagen? Nope. I would love to see him versus Dominic Cruz. Somebody watched Guru's video about Adesanya not selling cards. I guess so. I don't know. UFC 263 and 259 were goated cards, like super good. 263? No way, 263. I think you're imagining things. 263, it was okay. It was solid. But you could say, what was 262? And Leon versus Nate wasn't even supposed to be on 263. So because we got 2 title fights, so does that mean they're stacking Nunes versus Pena 2 as well? Because Nunes versus Pena 2 is way better than this card. UFC 273 is way better. So does that mean they're stacking cards for Volkanovski? You know, so what's another one? Charles Oliveira, UFC 269, way better than 263. Way better than 263. Look at UFC 269, way better. Let's take a look. Make sure I'm not imagining things. Cody Garbrandt versus Kai Kara France. Halian Paiva versus Sean O'Malley. Jeff Neal versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. Amanda Nunes, Juliana Pena. And also, we were supposed to get Leon versus Jorge on that card as well. So were they stacking cards for Oliveira as well? That argument just doesn't hold up to just basic scrutiny. I don't know why I had trouble saying that word for a second. So 259 was stacked. 259 was stacked, but there's plenty of stacked cards. UFC 268 was stacked. UFC 267 was stacked. You know, so you could say they're stacking cards for Jan Blachowicz. You could say the same thing. I mean, look at UFC 259 was crazy stacked, insanely stacked. I love 259. But you could say the same thing. Are you going to say the same thing for Usman? Look at UFC 251. UFC 251 was amazing too. Usman, Masvidal, Volkanovski, Holloway, Jan, Aldo, Andrade, Namajunas, Hebas, Van Zandt. Prelims, Ozemir Prohaska, Makwan Amirkhani, Leonardo Santos on the prelims. That argument just doesn't hold up. And it's International Fight Week. That's the dumbest argument I've ever heard in my life. If Lewis and Blades both win their fights, maybe a rematch between them. If Lewis and Blades, I don't think they're both going to win though, but maybe. Should be a good. Okay, yo Joe, you watching any cards live this year? I want to for sure. I feel like you deserve more fans for the amount of effort you put in your videos. Thank you, George Sanchez. We're getting there, man. We're getting there. I thank you. Are you for? Yeah, I already said this. So I'm not even going to read it. I mean, the performances were super good. Like every fight delivered except the main event. I don't know what we're getting at there. Yeah, but that has nothing to do with stacking beforehand. We're talking about on paper, is what he's saying. Which I think is I've heard that a couple people suggest that. I think that is the weirdest argument. Like, it doesn't even make sense. The UFC doesn't even care about pay-per-view sales anymore. ESPN pays them a flat rate for their pay-per-views. What is the best fight card of all time, in your opinion? Off the top of my head, one of the best fight cards I've ever seen was UFC 189. 189. Yeah, probably 189. I mean, this was incredible. Chad Mendes, Conor McGregor, incredible fight. Robbie Lawler, Rory McDonald, incredible fight. Dennis Bermudez versus Jeremy Stevens, incredible fight. Gunnar Nelson versus Brandon Thatch, incredible fight. Brad Pickett versus Thomas Almeida, incredible fight. So many great fights. That might be what we have to do on the members only Discord. We might have to do a UFC 189 fight watch along, because that was an incredible fight card. Alcohol is a demon. Imagine how amazing Jones' career would be without partying. I agree, man. I agree. As an active UFC fan for the last 4 to 5 months, can you explain to me why Dustin is so high in the pound for pound rankings? Because the rankings is made from a bunch of garbage media members that we don't even know who they are, and they elevated Dustin because he beat up Conor McGregor. I don't subscribe to that, but it doesn't matter, as Izzy doesn't really sell it. We don't know the numbers. We don't know what the numbers are never unveiled. So we don't know what Izzy sells or doesn't sell. You're literally just making it up. Now, if I'm wrong and you can provide me a link to the numbers, I would love to know, Cyber. I would love to know. We can't just go off of some random guy speculating on Twitter and just call that the numbers. We don't know. We don't know at all. If you can, go comment on one of my videos and link me a legitimate article naming the pay-per-view sales for Izzy cards. I would love to see them. So maybe I'm wrong. But I'm so tired. It drives me nuts. It drives me literally nuts that people keep saying, this guy doesn't sell good. This guy sells great. This guy doesn't sell good. The numbers are never public. We never know what these cards sell. The UFC doesn't unveil it. And even if the UFC was unveiling it, if the UFC said Izzy sold 1.2 million pay-per-view buys, I wouldn't believe that either. If you can find someone that has legitimate proof of the UFC pay-per-view numbers, is a credible source, send me the link. Send me the link on Discord. I would love to see it. But I'm so tired of people taking some random dude's word on Twitter that this fighter doesn't sell, or this fighter is the biggest seller we've ever seen. It just drives me nuts. I constantly see it. People keep saying, UFC 270 sold under 200 pay-per-view buys. I've seen that in my chat maybe 15 times over the course of the last 4 or 5 months. I've asked every single time for someone to give me a link to see a credible source stating that those are what the pay-per-view buys are. You know how many links I've gotten? Zero. Because they don't exist. They are people making up numbers on Twitter, and then people just run with it for some reason and say, oh, this guy's not a star. This guy is a star. All based off of bullshit. And it literally drives me nuts. One of the things that actually grinds my gears, for lack of a better word. People said the same thing after Adesanya Romero. What did they say? Grade UFC 249. UFC 249. What was UFC 249? I think that was a garbage card, wasn't it? Wasn't that Nunes versus what's her name? No, that was Tony Ferguson versus Gaethje. Oh yeah, that was a great card. Tony Ferguson, Gaethje, Cejudo, Dominic Cruz, Ngannou, Rosenstrike, Stevens, Cater, Greg Hardy, Jurgen De Castro, Pettis, Cerrone. I think that's a solid B minus, B plus maybe. There you go. I'm gonna do a full pay-per-view rewatch whenever. We got to do that for 268 because 268 was incredible. A full pay-per-view. I realized pound for pound was a joke after they literally put Adesanya ahead of Yan when he literally beat him. Ever since I've started this channel, anytime you've ever heard me, you can go back and find any stream, any video where I'm talking about pound for pound. I say it's literally garbage. How much pay-per-view buys do you think UFC 272 did? I feel like it did a decent amount, but how much do you think it did? I don't know, man. I thought it would do like 500 to 600,000, but I really don't know. So I'll say somewhere between 400 and 500,000 would be my guess. Why are they stacking Izzy cards though? Usually with the stars they don't have to. But I sound stupid. It's International Fight Week. It is International Fight Week. They've stacked cards with Brock Lesnar, one of the biggest pay-per-view sellers of all time, on International Fight Week multiple times. Multiple times. So there you go. Other than that, Izzy's got one stacked fight card. All the other ones have been okay. Some have been awful. So it's just not true. Thank you. Fans making pay-per-view arguments. They just make up numbers, dude. It's one of the most annoying things that I've found. Because I ask, give me a credible source that has said this. Give me a credible source. And they do not point their way to it. It just never happens. Nobody ever points their way to it. It just drives me nuts. UFC feels like a fight factory now. The Apex Fight Nights feel soulless. I only get excited for pay-per-views and arena shows now. When's the last time we got a stacked Apex card? Maybe last July. The Apex needs to go away by now. Why do you think bantamweight is the most stacked division in comparison to lightweight, for example? There's so many killers that aren't even in the top 15. You got Umar Nurmagomedov, Said Nurmagomedov, Yanez, Davy Grant. There's so many great guys outside of the top 15. That's what makes it so stacked. Lightweight's very good as well, though. They stack every Izzy card and their numbers are low. It's not stacked. UFC 263 wasn't that good. It was okay. UFC 271 was not that good at all. It was like a C minus at best. So if you want to say, oh, he's had now 2 stacked cards in his career. I mean, it literally is irrelevant. It's irrelevant. There's no reason. I'm trying to think of a way to put this. There is no reason for the UFC to stack Izzy's cards to make him look like a star. That is the dumbest argument I've ever heard in my entire life. The dumbest. There's literally no logical reason. So you're telling me they're stacking his cards to make the cards sell more, so then they cannot tell you the numbers about how much it sold, and somehow that makes a difference? I mean, I would love to hear the argument. I just think it's a garbage argument. It's really a garbage argument. It just drives me nuts. It just drives me nuts hearing this garbage argument. And if anybody can fill me in, let me know. I would love to know. I'm not coming at you specifically. I would just love to know. Okay. Patty Mills, thank you for the $5 super chat, my friend. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the donation. Keep up the good work, man. Love the content. Okay. We're on our way to become the #1 MMA channel on YouTube. Now, I don't know if that's actually possible, but I would love to make that possible. So thank you for your $5 donation. I appreciate your support. You're the man. Greatly appreciate it. Okay. Let's continue. Any other American male fighters you see becoming champ, since the only American champ is Sterling? That is a great question, Fernando. A very good question. Let's take a look. Yeah. Nope. Max Holloway is your best bet. You know, because at flyweight, it's either going to be Devison, Moreno, or Kai, and I think it's going to come down to Devison and Moreno. At bantamweight, if it's not Sterling, it's going to be TJ or Jan. At featherweight, it's going to be Volkanovski or Max. Max is your best chance. At lightweight, it's either going to be Oliveira or Islam for the foreseeable future. At welterweight, it's going to be Usman, Leon, or Khamzat. None of them from the United States. At middleweight, it's going to be Adesanya or maybe Pajeda. At light heavyweight, it's going to be Yuri or Glover. At heavyweight, maybe John Jones. Maybe John Jones can become champ. Oh my goodness, the donations are now flying in. My man Tyler. This is my very first stream with you, and I've stayed since you started the stream. Much respect, my friend. Great work. I'll be here for the long run. Thank you, Tyler, for your $10 donation, man. I greatly appreciate the super chat. It means a lot. I'm going to buy a new computer soon. So by the end of the year is what I mean when I say soon. So I appreciate your donation, man. We're going to try to grow the channel to be a big channel. I will remember this sweet $10 donation from you for you supporting the channel, man. I greatly appreciate you, and I appreciate the donation. And I'm glad you will be here for the long run. We do a live stream every single now I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. Every single Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. We do a live stream. So this is a random live stream, but every single Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern. If you want to remember one, that's the one I have scheduled. And I do a live stream every single pay-per-view immediately following the pay-per-view. So thanks again, Tyler, for the $10 donation. I greatly appreciate you, man. Okay, let's go back up. I try to read the super chats first because I greatly appreciate it. When I see them pop up, I want to make sure I acknowledge them before someone leaves or something like that. So thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Patty. I appreciate it. Okay, let's get back to some of these questions. Who cares about pay-per-view? I don't certainly care. I don't work for the UFC. The UFC doesn't pay me based off their pay-per-view sales, so me, it doesn't even matter. What's your full opinion on what's next for Conor? I could see a money fight, but I would not be surprised at all if he got a title shot. All the champions calling him out and want a payday. Usman a lot. It would not... Let me adjust myself. It would not shock me if Conor comes back to a title shot. If Conor does come back to a title shot, it will be Charles Oliveira versus Conor McGregor for the vacant lightweight title. But if I had to give you my best guess, if I had to put money down on it, who does Conor return against? It's going to be most likely be the Nate Diaz trilogy. I think that's why they're refusing to give Nate Diaz a fight. I think they want Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz in a trilogy fight because they want to bring Conor back to the most likely chance to win. And you look through the lightweight division, you look through all the potential opponents that Conor McGregor could return to fight. The most manageable and the most likely to be able to pull off a win for Conor is going to be Nate. If I had to give a second guess, it'd be Tony Ferguson. If I had to give a third guess, it'd be Jorge Masvidal. So there you go. I care how much money I make. Okay. I reckon UFC 263 got like 600K buys because Nate is a draw. 259 got 700 from what I understand, but had 3 title fights. Okay, fair enough. Usman versus Chimaev, who wins? I am picking Khamzat Chimaev. How big of a draw was Lesnar back then? Millions of pay-per-view buys. He was Conor McGregor level draw. What's International Fight Week? I don't understand it. Basically, the Christmas of UFC fights. Every July, they do a massive, massive pay-per-view. They've been doing it for as long as I've been watching, and they call it International Fight Week. And they do a bunch of events the whole week of the fights. They fly in a bunch of fighters that aren't even fighting on the card. They do a bunch of meet and greets. One year, they even did fights on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So, there you go. That's what International Fight Week is. It's just basically a big event for the UFC in July of every year. Too many people drinking the Guru Kool-Aid? Okay, I guess so. I mean, I don't know. Why do people even care about the pay-per-view numbers? Like, they don't even matter. Either you like the card or you don't. Yeah, I don't necessarily care about them. Most of these cards are just too heavy. How could you complain about a card being too heavy, GOAT? How could you complain about that? Do you think Cody wins his next fight versus Yaya? He's a submission specialist. No, Cody Garbrandt will beat Ronnie Yaya. I'm confident in that. Thanks again for the donation, Patty. Appreciate the super chat. The UFC's a business. If Izzy wasn't a star, he'd be on a co-main. That doesn't even add up for me. TJ Dillashaw, American champ. There you go. Yep. No arguments, just facts. I don't know what you're talking about there, but okay, fair enough. Come on now. We got this garbage. Thank you, French Fries. I'm just now seeing that. Thank you, French Fries, for dealing with that. I appreciate you. That's super annoying. Welcome to the club. You said previously that Aspinall would be the hardest fight for Ngannou. Why not John Jones? Maybe I wasn't including John Jones. I think John Jones has the best chance to beat Ngannou, in my opinion. I actually picked John Jones to beat Ngannou if they fought. Even if Adesanya cards are stacked, who gives an F? They're better for the fans. You guys argue about the dumbest stuff. I just don't get the logic behind it. I just don't get the logic behind it at all. For me, it doesn't make sense. There's no... When I look at a potential, I guess you want to call it a conspiracy theory, of Adesanya's cards are being secretly stacked for reasons, I say, okay, well, what is the motive behind this? And I'm like, so they're stacking cards for Izzy and there's no real good reason behind it, you know? Oh, to make him look like a star is what you said. Now I just hit my knee on the table. Makes zero sense. Makes zero sense at all. The UFC gets a flat rate from ESPN for their pay-per-views. They decide to stack certain cards because they just, and the thing is, it's a flawed argument because he's had no more stacked cards than other people. And UFC 276 shouldn't even count because it's International Fight Week. They stack that card every year. Every single year they stack that card. Outside of maybe last year, wasn't that crazy stacked. But every year before that, pretty much. All Brits become champ. Bold prediction. Jack Shore 135, Leon 170, Tom Aspinall heavyweight, and Arnold. Okay, there you go. I'm happy to see your hard work paying off. Thank you, White Magic. Appreciate you. Joey, the only UFC cards I'm stoked is Israel versus Jarrett and Peña Nunes. That's everything else I don't care about. Well, you should care about potential Oliveira versus Islam. It's huge. Khamzat versus Leon or Leon versus Usman, I'm excited for. And the return of Conor McGregor. The end of this year is going to be really solid. Conor would KO Beneil, in my opinion. It could go either way. Conor won't come back for against Oliveira. Charles said today that told him who his opponent, since Conor, Beneil are injured in Volkanovski's book. It's obvious it's Islam in December. I hope they give him Islam in Brazil. This is a weird question, but right now, Cruz versus Dillashaw, I would have to, I honest to God, have Cruz winning that. I'd probably pick Dillashaw, but I would hope Cruz would win. Joe, I mean, top heavy. He rarely has stack cards, just heavy, just top heavy. Israel Adesanya has no more stacked cards. I can pick out 5 other fighters that have had just as many stacked cards as Izzy, if not more. The only issue I see with overstacking cards is absolute pile of garbage we get afterwards of fight nights. But they've done this for years. It's not like a new thing. I mean, I can go back and tell you cards that are god awful. Let me pull up a couple. Let's go. I'm just gonna search random ones. Let's see. I think I remember this card being all garbage. Look up UFC 186. Demetrius Johnson versus Kyoji Horiguchi. Co-main event was a catch weight of out-of-shape Quentin Rampage Jackson versus Fabio Maldonado. Garbage. This was one of the worst cards I've ever seen. Michael Bisping, CB Dalloway. John McDessie, Shane Campbell. Yves Jabron versus Thomas Almeida. UFC 186, garbage. Absolute garbage. So it happens all the time where they do one big, massive card. But watch. So that was UFC 186. Let's go to UFC 185. I bet you 185 was really solid. Let's take a look. No, it was not. No, it was. It was. UFC 185 was pretty solid. It doesn't sound that great now. Anthony Pettis versus Rafael Dos Anjos was a huge fight at the time. Co-main event was Carlos Barza, Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Third fight down was Johnny Hendricks versus Matt Brown, which was a #1 contender fight for the welterweight title. Heavyweight fight, Roy Nelson, Alistair Overeem, great fight at the time. And then the opening of the main card was Chris Kariyasu versus Henry Cejudo. Let's look up stacked cards with big draws on top of them. UFC 194 comes to mind. UFC 194, Conor McGregor, one of the biggest stars in the game at this point. He had proven to be a star at this point. Jose Aldo, Conor McGregor is the main event. And the reason I point out that he's the main event, because under him is Chris Weidman versus Luke Rockhold for the middleweight title. One of the biggest prime versus prime, probably the best middleweight fight on paper ever. Like leading into it, I said, oh my goodness, prime Weidman, prime Rockhold, can't wait for this fight. Underneath of that, Jacare Souza versus Joel Romero, borderline #1 contender fight. Underneath that, Damian Maia versus Gunnar Nelson, which was actually a solid fight, 2 top welterweights at the time. Under that, Max Holloway, Jeremy Stevens. Prelims, Uriah Faber versus Frankie Saenz. Tisha Torres is on the prelims. Colby Covington's on the prelims. Colby Covington was not anybody at that point in time, but still, Kevin Lee was on the prelims. If you watched MMA at the time, you knew who Colby Covington was. So there you go. UFC 194, absolutely stacked. Okay, let's find another known draw with a stacked card. UFC 214. Let's take a look at you. That just comes to mind right now. Yeah, this wasn't crazy stacked, but this was a solid card. Daniel Cormier, John Jones too. John Jones was known for drawing in solid pay-per-view buys. And what do we have here? Tyron Woodley, Damian Maia for the welterweight title. Solid fight. Chris Cyborg versus Tanya Evinger. Another title fight. 3 title fights. Robbie Lawler, Donald Cerrone. Solid welterweight fight at the time. Jimmy Manuwa, Volkan Ozdemir. Opening up the main card. Prelims, Ricardo Lamas. Prelims, Aljamain Sterling, Renan Barão. Prelims, Ryan Ortega versus Renato Moicano. Prelims, Andre Touchy-Feely versus Calvin Kattar. So there you go. There's UFC 214. Are we stacking those cards too? Oh, here, let's go for another one. UFC 217. Oh, who's that? George St. Pierre, one of the biggest draws of all time, versus Michael Bisping. A long layoff coming back to look for the middleweight title. Is there a bigger fight the UFC could have possibly made in the main event with a bigger draw than GSP making his return after all these years off? What could possibly be on that pay-per-view card? Cody Garbrandt, TJ Dillashaw, massive grudge match for the bantamweight title. Underneath that, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, Rose Namajunas, women's strawweight title fight. Under that, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Jorge Masvidal, a top 10 ranked welterweight fight. Underneath of that, Johnny Hendricks, a former welterweight champion at the time, moving up to middleweight to fight Paulo Costa, which is hilarious. The UFC sacrificed into Paulo Costa. On the prelims, not the greatest prelims, but either way, another stacked card with a massive draw on the top of it. And I'm sorry I'm not reading questions right now. I'm going to get to the questions in a minute, but I just want to pull some of these up. Oh, let's look up another one. Another one comes to mind. UFC 205. Massive draw. Conor McGregor fighting Eddie Alvarez to become champ. This card couldn't possibly be stacked. Oh, the co-main event. Woodley versus Wonderboy Thompson for the welterweight title. I don't know why I said that. Underneath that, Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Karolina Kowalkiewicz for the women's strawweight title. Underneath of that, Chris Weidman versus Yoel Romero in the middleweight division. Underneath that, Miesha Tate versus Raquel Pennington. Underneath that, no, never mind, that got canceled. I'm wrong on that one. Sorry. UFC 205, on paper, was one of the most stacked cards I've ever seen in my life. Look at the prelims. Frankie Edgar, Jeremy Stevens, Khabib Nurmagomedov, Michael Johnson, Tim Bosch, Vicente Luque, Bilal Muhammad. Rashad Evans versus Tim Kennedy was supposed to be on the card. Jim Miller was on the early prelims. Liz Carmouche versus Caitlin Chukagian on the early prelims as well. There is more stacked Conor McGregor cards than stacked Israel Adesanya cards. So is Conor McGregor a fake star now? Or did they just stack his card? It just makes no sense. And I don't know why I'm continuing to talk about this, but I just have to prove this. Let's look up one more. Let's see if we can find one more. What's another Conor card? What did he fight after 205? I think he returned against Khabib. UFC 229. This card was decent. This card wasn't crazy stacked. Khabib Nurmagomedov, Conor McGregor, one of the biggest fights of all time. Tony Ferguson, Anthony Pettis underneath of it. OSP versus Dominic Reyes. Derek Lewis, Alexander Volkov. Michelle Watterson, Felice Herrig. Ugh. Ugly. So this isn't a great example. This has some decent fights on it. This is a solid card. But at the same time, I wouldn't say that one is in the crazy stacked category by any means whatsoever. Whew. Okay, now that we went through all that, let's get back to the questions and see if I can find some more questions and see what you guys are saying about this. If you have not already liked the stream, make sure to like the stream. I would greatly appreciate it. Okay, let's continue. I apologize for that, guys. I just had to continue. Okay. I'm going to feel bad for all the fans UFC is going to get after 276, and we'll go to drop in 277. Every card can't be crazy stacked. 264 was stacked with Conor, so leave Izzy alone, bro. Is our active star right now. We can't take nothing away from him. Yeah. I mean, you can't compare anybody to Conor at this point. But I don't get why people are saying the UFC, there's some conspiracy theory. It's just a dumb argument. They're stacking Izzy's card, but Nkannou's last card was trash. Dana intentionally wanted to tank. Yeah, probably. I believe that more than I believe the UFC stacking the card for no good reason. It's probably going to be Islam versus Oliveira on the October card in Fight Island. We'll see. I don't think Beneil can sell. He's not a draw. I don't want him champion. I'd rather have Charles. There you go. They reveal no, they don't. They don't reveal the pay-per-view numbers. They don't do it. 264 was not stacked. Greg Hardy. I already said it wasn't that stacked. I said that one. That was okay. It wasn't garbage, but it wasn't stacked. I never understood why people said Charles should be scared of Islam. Charles is known for being a ground. His jiu-jitsu is unmatched, so shouldn't Islam be careful about taking it to the ground? Yes, and we'll see, because I don't think he will be careful. Let's go. Okay. Not really. Andrew Sanchez on the main card. Who cares? Conor carries those cards. What's up? O'Malley said Vera might finally deserve a rematch. Do you think the fight would go the same way? I don't know if it would go the exact same way, but I have Vera winning. I don't know if in a rematch Vera is going to chop his legs so badly and then push him to the ground and flash KO him with brutal elbows, and then O'Malley's going to be stretchered out of the cage with no serious injury. I don't know if that's necessarily going to happen, but I see Vera stopping him. So if in the same way you mean via TKO, I think Vera TKOs him again, would be my guess. Was Cruz versus Cejudo an early stoppage? A hair. I'm not going to complain too much, but a little bit. What should Russians like Yan, Ankalaev, Khamzat, and Islam do to be a draw? They clearly have skill. I think they all can become draws. They just got to keep winning. I don't know what are these faces for, Mario? What are these faces for? How you been? I've been doing good, Steven. How are you? How are you doing, Steven? How are you doing? Don't give me Misha Tate. If I mention Misha Tate, I apologize for that. UFC 229 Habib Conor card was actually pretty stacked, even though they didn't need to be. Yeah, it wasn't crazy. I just went through that, but there you go. Which is the biggest fight skill-wise? Usman versus Khamzat, Jones versus Ngannou, Islam, Oliveira, Yan, Dillashaw. I'll say Yan Dillashaw. This has been a really funny stream. Is it really? Are you guys laughing at this stream? Absolutely yes. I don't know what that's about. Is there anyone else who was a big draw like Conor or Lesnar? Ronda Rousey was selling millions of pay-per-view buys. It was Conor, Lesnar, Ronda Rousey. John Jones with the right opponent was selling millions. Like I think the DC fights did millions or like 900K, which is really solid. But Conor and Lesnar are really kind of in a category of their own. Ronda was having some millions pay-per-view sales too. Rafael Sunsao versus Umar. I take Umar all day. Sunsao just seems like he's had his days are numbered. His days are numbered. Whew. Okay, guys, let's see. The stream is almost 2 hours long. I don't know how this happened, but this has been a great stream. We've had some good discussions. We went through some good cards. We got some donations. I appreciate you guys who have been donating. Keep the questions coming. We'll keep the stream going for a little bit longer. I didn't realize when sometimes when we go on on about certain topics, it's crazy how fast time goes by. Battle of Nurmagomedov versus Umar. Said Nurmagomedov versus Umar. I'd love it. I'd take Umar, but that's a tough fight. Do you think Yan versus Habib, cousin Umar, would be a good fight? Would it sell? If Umar continues to win, it's very possible. Rewatching Chito versus Sean, I truly think Sean wins a decision in a rematch. I know the exact... Dude, Vera can eat some shots, and Sean O'Malley slows down. A 3-round fight, I could see O'Malley winning. A 5-round fight, he's not winning. He's not winning. Jorge versus Nate 2, I would actually like to see that more than Conor versus Nate 3. I would like to see Conor versus Nate 3 more than Jorge Nate 3. Let's actually do a poll on that. Let's do a poll. Okay. Let's do a poll. Which fight would you like to see more? I just ended the old poll. 50-50 on are you excited for next weekend? Which fight would you like to see more? Would you... French fries, can you block them? Please. That's so annoying. Would you like to see more? Nate versus Conor 3. Nate Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal 2. Nate Diaz. I'll type their last names just for the hell of it. Okay. I don't know. It could be just a different account. They got all those dashes and X's and this and that. It's annoying as heck, but I appreciate you taking care of it the first time because I wasn't even looking at the chat when it first happened. It's crazy. All right, let's see what you guys go vote in the poll. Go vote in the poll. Let's see what we got here. Whoo. Guys, this is a long stream. We're 2 hours in. Maybe we'll go 3 hours. We'll go 3 hours maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it right now. Whoever you are, stop it. Okay. Let's continue. Let's continue the questions and then we'll come back. Sean wins a 3-rounder, 5 probably goes. Did you say that before or after me? That's hilarious. Who's the most athletic fighter currently in the UFC? Most athletic? Most athletic fighter currently. Who is the most athletic current fighter? I have no clue. I wish you would have gave me some options here. I'll say Michael Chandler. I'll throw Michael Chandler in the mix. Would you like to see Jorge versus Conor, or would you rather see Conor versus Tony Ferguson? I'd probably see Jorge versus Conor more. Okay, 77% want to see Nate Diaz versus Conor 3 more than Nate versus Jorge 2. Would you watch Sean O'Malley versus Chito as a main event of a fight night? We've watched card. Yes, definitely. Stop it. LOL. I'd prefer McGregor versus Masvidal than those two. I'd prefer McGregor Masvidal than those two options. Okay. How did you score Moreno versus Figueiredo? And is damage more important than output? I scored it for Moreno. It was very, very close. And it depends, man. It depends. But damage typically is more important. But for me, depending on what happens, I like, a certain volume of strikes can cause more damage, if that makes sense, than one big strike. I'm personally a fan of Conor and Jorge, but I feel like Jorge would beat Conor and probably knock him out and ground and pound him. Yeah, super necessary. Jordan Levitt is most athletic. We didn't get to see how Nate Jorge really ended. I think we did, but I wouldn't have a problem with. They talked about booking it for early. Was it early 2021? I think. Yeah, I think they thought about booking it for early 2021. Don't you think Nate isn't as entertaining as people make? He literally shaking his ass for 4 rounds and doing nothing against Leon. I think that was a product of what Leon was doing. Rather than Nate. I think he was just overmatched skill-wise. Jordan Levitt is a low, and I think he could drop to 145. Okay? I'd rather get trucked on by Jordan Levitt than K. Agreed 100%. All right, look, guys. It is almost 2 a.m. We're an hour and 53 minutes into the stream. We'll go 2 hours, so another about 10 minutes, roughly 7 minutes or so. If somebody wants to donate a $20 super chat, we'll make this a 3-hour stream. I'll stay up till 3 a.m. And even if a couple people donate for a total of $20, we'll go till 3 a.m. We'll go an extra entire hour. I'll stay up till 3 a.m. my time just to stay on here and chat with you guys. So we'll see if you guys can do it. If not, we'll go another 10 or 15 minutes. No big deal. But if you guys want to make it a 3-hour stream. Ever since that one time where we ended up setting off a massive donation chain, we got to start doing that more often. Okay. But yeah, I'd definitely rather get twerked on by Jordan Levitt than KO'd by Brendan Schaub. I'd get twerked on by Jordan Levitt like 18 times after getting beat up than to get KO'd by Brendan Schaub. Would be the most embarrassing thing. Do you think Nate let Leon off the hook? Definitely. Definitely let Leon off the hook. I don't know if he would have got the finish anyway, but why did he point at him for 5 to 10 seconds after he rocked him badly? If he would have immediately took off after him, it leaves a little bit up for debate. Maybe he could have got a stoppage if he would have took off after him immediately. So, yes, Nate did let him off the hook. Nate should have went after him immediately, and it's something that we'll always have to question. What if Nate would have went after him? What would have really happened had Nate Diaz went after him? Maybe he could have got the finish. I don't think he would have, but it's very possible. I'd say it's 50-50. Goat is laughing. There you go. Goat wants the 3-hour stream. Yeah, that was crazy, like $200. Yeah, it was. For my channel, it was pretty crazy. I appreciate you guys. Okay, let's see what the poll is doing right now. What fight would you like to see more? 71% says Nate Diaz versus Conor 3. Nate Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal 2 has 27%. So there you go. We'll end that poll. UFC 244 was probably my favorite card to watch in real time. It was so intense. Great on paper. The fights delivered. I was there live, White Magic. I was there live in the arena for UFC 244. It was insanity. Let's look up that fight card. I can't remember every fight on there. Let's start with the prelims. We got to see Caitlin Chukagian win a decision against Maya. Let's continue up the card. Let's go to the main card. Or no, let's start with the prelims. Andrei Arlovsky versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Jairzinho Rozenstruik just KOs him in the first round. Brutally. Next fight, Edmund Shabazi and KOs Brad Tavares. Brutal head kick. Then Shane Burgos, if I remember correctly, he was losing the first 2 rounds and then comes back and TKOs Makwan Amirkhani in the 3rd round. It might have been even in the 2nd round. I don't remember. I remember Makwan Amirkhani was getting gassed and then got finished in the 3rd round. Corey Anderson upsets Johnny Walker. A lot of people thought Johnny Walker was going to win that fight. Corey Anderson went out there, not slap him, but standing TKO. Then we got the main card. Kevin Lee, Gregor Gillespie. I will never, ever forget that head kick KO as long as I live. So brutal. Gregor Gillespie's only fought once since then, and that was in 2019. Derek Lewis, Bagoy Ivanov. That fight wasn't the greatest fight, but the tension in the arena was insanity. The tension in the arena for that fight. I thought Ivanov won that fight, by the way. He out-grappled Derek Lewis. He should have got the decision, in my opinion. It's crazy to see what a fan favorite Derek Lewis is, though. Wonderboy Thompson versus Vicente Luque. Vicente Luque went out there and got absolutely brutalized in the 2nd and 3rd round. Wonderboy's just karate style was too much for him. Then you have the co-main, Kelvin Gastelum, Darren Till, was probably the worst fight on the card, to be honest. Kelvin Gastelum, Darren Till. Not to say it was a bad fight. It was a very good fight. I scored it for Kelvin Gastelum, but it was super close, super technical. I enjoyed the fight, and Darren Till has one of my favorite walkouts. Then you had the main event, Jorge Masvidal, Nate Diaz, which was insane while it lasted. Had an anticlimactic ending, but it is what it is. It happens. I saw all I needed to see. I think the writing was on the wall. Jorge Masvidal was going to win that fight. I don't think he was going to gas and get finished by Nate Diaz. I just don't see that happening in the fight. The cut was nasty. I know there was a lot of controversy about, whether or not it should have been stopped, and it was in New York, and maybe just because it's in New York, that's the only reason it happened. I think it was bad enough. I was okay. At first, I was a little bit disappointed just because I was there live. I wanted to see the fight continue to play out. But it is what it is. Then I went a month later. I went to UFC on ESPN, Overeem versus Rozenstruik. Crazy buzzer beater KO by Alistair Overeem. We got to see Stefan Struve get kicked in the balls like 67 times. We got to see Cody Stamann I think it's Cody Stamann versus Song Yadong fight to a draw. We got to see Rob Font beat Ricky Simon. Or Simone, I can't remember his name. We also got to see Bryce Mitchell. Got to see Bryce Mitchell get the first ever twister, which was solid as well. So that was a good card as well. Kevin Lee KOs over Gregor is one of my all-time favorites. It was brutal. It was brutal. Sean Strickland versus Pajeda, winner gets a title shot or no? Yes, winner gets a title shot for sure. I was in Moscow, and next week after 244, I had the option to go to Zabit Cater live. Low-key regret not going. I didn't know it would be Zabit's last fight, and a pandemic would happen afterwards. Yeah, man, that does suck. You got to live with that regret of not going to Zabit versus Cater. I would have loved to have been at that fight. I kind of regret that fight wasn't 5 rounds, right? It was a main event, but it wasn't 5 rounds, if I remember correctly. Zabit versus Cater. Zabit. Yeah, it was a 3-round decision because Cater was starting to come on strong later in the fight, and I think he won the 3rd round, if I remember correctly. But unfortunately, it wasn't 5 rounds because it was kind of short notice, I think, for somebody. I don't remember if it was short notice for Zabit. Yeah, I think they were originally supposed to fight as like the co-main, and something else happened. Well, guys, we've gone 2 hours tonight. I think we went 2 hours last night as well. This has been an incredible stream. We're fastly creeping to 4,000 subscribers. I am going to go to sleep. It is 2 a.m. my time. I appreciate everyone that joined us tonight. I appreciate all the donations that you guys sent. Don't forget to like the stream. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Do not forget to like the stream. That's most important. And go check out all the recent videos. There's been a bunch of recent videos. Patty Pimlet, UFC 277, a bunch of different stuff on the channel. Go check them out. Speculation about who's going to face Azaitar. I have no idea. Who deserves the trilogy against champion more, Stipe, Colby, or Whitaker? Stipe. Stipe for sure. Okay, guys, that's the last question. I appreciate you guys so much. If I don't see you on another live stream, I'll be doing prediction videos tomorrow. Probably Dan Ige, Mozar Evalev, main event, Rosenstrike versus Volkov. And then I'll be doing the weekly live chat Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Thank you guys all for joining me, and I want you guys to enjoy the rest of your night. I'm going to go get some sleep, so take it easy.